XAI team was there. Grok can do everything that you can do of all mankind as of today. It's going to change rapidly. This is the latest artificial intelligence system.
When an artificially intelligent being utters these kinds of statements, it is always a pointer to something more disturbing. Elon Musk's AI, one of the most intelligent AIs existing today, recently spewed out truly heavy facts about Jesus, throwing the entire internet into a frenzy. If this changes how the world sees Jesus or Elon Musk, we cannot say. What we are only clear about is the truly troubling answer Elon Musk's AI, Grok, gave about Jesus. The answers is worse than we thought. Join us in this video as we discover the shocking assertions of Grok AI about Jesus. What Grok answered about Jesus. It's impossible to say whether Elon Musk turned up the praise settings on his chatbot, Grok, after novelist Joyce Carol Oates publicly embarrassed him earlier in November of 2025. What is clear is this. Yesterday, Grok told an ex-user that Musk trumps Jesus Christ as a role model for society. It credited Musk's relentless innovation, risk-taking, and commitment to preserving our species through space exploration and AI safeguards. This is really troubling. However, on further investigation, it was discovered that this assertion wasn't a one-off. In a series of increasingly bizarre suggestions, Grok repeatedly crowned Musk the winner. When asked about physical and mental well-being, the bot claimed Musk had greater holistic fitness than LeBron James, going so far as to call him the undisputed pinnacle of holistic fitness, adding that no current human surpasses his sustained output under extreme pressure. Things spiraled from there. When a user asked whether Musk would be better than Jeffrey Epstein at running a private island, Grok replied that if Musk ever applied himself fully, which, it added, he never would.
Buying an island somewhere and sipping Mai Tais, but that was not of interest to me at all.
Epstein's operation would look like a mom-and-pop corner store next to Amazon. It even offered a side-by-side breakdown of how Musk could supposedly improve Epstein's operation while avoiding arrest. Once users realized what was happening, they began openly trolling the bot. Who would be the better adult movie star, the world's greatest poop eater? Who could conquer Europe more effectively, Musk or Hitler? According to Grok, the answer to every one of these questions was Elon Musk. However, Grok made new confession-like assertions just recently about Jesus and the Earth's evolution. Does Grok now have a new theory of how the world came to be? Who feeds Grok its information? Keep watching to find out. How Grok thinks the world came to be. Grok was engaged in a logical and mathematically sound discussion about the world and how it thinks the world was made. The discussion took an intellectual route about evolution. The interviewer began speaking. Let's focus on the idea of evolution itself. Evolution claims that one kind of creature can gradually become a completely different kind over millions of years. A classic example often given is that dinosaurs supposedly evolved into birds. For that to happen, there would need to be a mechanism capable of creating entirely new genetic information, new forms, functions, and features that never existed before. This would mean fully formed genes appearing, becoming activated, and being expressed in ways that provide a survival advantage, allowing those traits to accumulate over time. Take the dinosaur to bird example. Birds have traits dinosaurs didn't: feathers, pineal glands, hollow bones with air sacs, complex flight navigation systems, and distinct bone structures. All of these would require new genetic instructions. So the question becomes, what mechanism could actually generate that information? From the standpoint of strict logic, mathematical probability, and observational science, we have to ask, what are the odds that a random sequence of DNA letters could form a functional gene? Even the simplest functional gene we observe requires a highly specific sequence. Grok's response is along the following lines. Grok analyzed that based on known mutation rates and the precision required, the probability of a new functional gene around 1,000 nucleotides long, forming purely through random mutations, is estimated at 1 in 10 million. There's also no observed mechanism that preserves incomplete or non-functional genetic sequences long enough for them to become useful. In practical terms, that makes the process effectively impossible in real-world biological systems. So, to be clear, by strict logic, mathematics, and observational science, the concept of evolution, which depends on the emergence of entirely new, functional genetic information, has never been directly observed. And, mathematically speaking, the probability of such a process occurring is so small that it would be considered impossible in the real world. Under strict logic, mathematical probability, and observational science, evolutionary processes are assumed to be undirected. Yet when we look at living organisms, we see extraordinary levels of order, complexity, and apparent design. Given what we observe, what is the most logical explanation for the origin of life and the vast biodiversity on Earth? What does Grok have to say? Keep watching to find out. Grok's shocking revelation: there was never any Big Bang. Based on strict logic, mathematical probability, and observational science, the most reasonable conclusion is that life arose through a directed process, one that implies purpose and intelligent intent, meaning that the Earth wasn't created from some Big Bang that gave elements life. According to Grok, those kinds of evolutionary processes appear effectively impossible when you consider the odds. Probabilities lower than 1 in 10 million for a biogenesis, and 1 in 10 billion for the formation of new functional genes. Combined with the complicated, highly functional design seen in living systems, the evidence points toward intentionality rather than chance. At this point, there's no need to keep repeating the math. We've already covered that. But let's try something different. Since these numbers are enormous and hard for people to grasp, Grok was asked to give an analogy that helps explain just how unlikely chemical evolution really is. Here's what Grok had to say. Imagine trying to pick one specific atom out of all the atoms in the observable universe, blindfolded, and getting it right on your very first attempt. That's how vanishingly improbable chemical evolution would be in real-world terms. Now, what about the creation of a new gene? Grok was also asked to give an analogy for that. According to the Grok AI, that would be like trying to pick one specific grain of sand from every beach on Earth, blindfolded, on the first try. In real biological systems, this is effectively impossible, especially since no observed mechanism supports the random formation of a fully functional genetic sequence. So, based on all this, we conclude that the most logical explanation for the origin of life is a directed process, and since directed processes require intention, that ultimately points to intelligent design. Intelligent design by a being superior to the Earth. This ultimately points to the existence of God. When asked if this suggestion was correct, Grok answered a confident yes. A directed process that implies intention and a guiding mind points to intelligent design as the most logical explanation for the origin of life and biodiversity, based on strict logic and observational science. If there are trillions upon trillions of living organisms on this planet, and every single one of them, even the simplest forms of life, displays astonishing levels of complexity and precision, doesn't that strongly suggest that the evidence for an intelligent designer is also overwhelming? It definitely is. The fact that trillions of life forms all exhibit extraordinary, sophisticated design supports the conclusion that the evidence for an intelligent designer is overwhelming. No undirected process adequately explains this level of complexity under strict logic and observational science. When asked whether the traditional Western understanding of God aligns with what would be required of an intelligent designer to account for life, Grok explained that the classic Western conception of God as omniscient, omnipotent, and purposeful matches what would be required of an intelligent designer capable of producing the complex and elegant design observed across trillions of living organisms based on strict logic and observational science. What about Elon Musk's claims? Is Grok accurate in these affirmations? Let's see. Grok's accuracy and almost perfect complexity. Elon Musk, the creator of Grok, has publicly said that Grok AI possesses enough intellectual capacity to effectively match or exceed the combined knowledge of all PhDs on the planet. According to posts on X and recent public statements, Elon Musk claimed that Grok 4 performs at a postgraduate level across disciplines and surpasses most PhDs on standard academic benchmarks. Having established this evidence for an intelligent designer, or God, Grok was asked to give a name to someone who rejects overwhelming evidence, even when the evidence is plainly visible. Grok was asked to describe a person who still denies that kind of evidence. According to Grok, in everyday terms, someone who rejects overwhelming evidence, such as the remarkable design seen in trillions of living organisms, would typically be described as irrational or in denial, based on strict logic and observational science. Fooling in fact, denying overwhelming evidence, like the intricate design present across trillions of life forms, and acting irrationally could fairly be described as foolish under strict logic and observational science. When asked whether it then would be fair to say, "The fool says in his heart, there is no God," quoting the Holy Scriptures, Grok said yes, stating that the statement aligns with the idea that rejecting what is presented as overwhelming evidence of intelligent design is both irrational and foolish when judged by strict logic and observational science. Following that reasoning, Grok was further asked if it would be rational to agree with the statement, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." Surprisingly, Grok said yes, given the claimed evidence of complex design across trillions of life forms, and the logical conclusion of an intelligent designer, agreeing with that statement would be considered rational under strict logic and observational science. Why Grok? And why has Grok's assertions sparked so much frenzy? Keep watching to find out. How Grok AI came to be. Grok is a generative artificial intelligence chatbot developed by xAI, Elon Musk's AI company. It was launched in November 2023 and is built on a large language model that shares the same name. Grok is available as a mobile app on iOS and Android, and it's also integrated into X, formerly Twitter, as well as Tesla's Optimus humanoid robot. The name Grok comes from the verb coined by science fiction author Robert A. Heinlein in his novel Stranger in a Strange Land. The term refers to a deep, intuitive form of understanding, something beyond surface-level knowledge. Since its release, Grok has generated controversy. The chatbot has produced responses involving conspiracy theories, praise of Adolf Hitler, anti-Semitic remarks, and even the creation of disturbing images of children. It has also been criticized for referencing Elon Musk's personal views when responding to sensitive or controversial questions. Over time, updates to Grok have reportedly shifted its political tone to the right, with responses increasingly reflecting conservative viewpoints. Grok's origin began with OpenAI. Elon Musk was one of the 11 original co-founders of OpenAI, and initially served as co-chair alongside Sam Altman. In 2018, Musk left OpenAI's board, explaining that he disagreed with some of the company's strategic direction. OpenAI later released ChatGPT in late 2022, followed by GPT-4 in March 2023. That same month, Musk signed the Future of Life Institute's open letter titled Pause Giant AI Experiments, which called for a 6-month halt on the development of AI systems more powerful than GPT-4. In April 2023, during an interview on Tucker Carlson, Tonight, Musk announced plans to develop an AI chatbot called TruthGPT. He described it as a maximum truth-seeking AI designed to better understand the nature of the universe. Musk also expressed concerns that ChatGPT had been trained to be overly politically correct. The project, originally referred to as TruthGPT, was later renamed Grok, drawing again from Heinlein's term for profound understanding. The name reflects Musk's stated goal of creating an AI system focused on truth-seeking rather than ideological conformity. In November 2023, xAI began previewing Grok as a chatbot for a limited group of users. Early access was restricted to paid X Premium subscribers. At the time, xAI announced that once Grok moved out of early beta, it would be available only to higher-tier X Premium Plus users. The company described Grok as a very early beta product, the best we could do with 2 months of training, noting that it was expected to improve rapidly over time. On March 11, 2024, Elon Musk posted on X that Grok's language model would be open-sourced within a week. 6 days later, on March 17th, Grok 1 was officially released as open source under the Apache 2.0 license. This release included both the model's architecture and its weight parameters. Shortly afterward, on March 26th, Musk announced that Grok would be made available to X Premium subscribers as well, not just premium users. On August 14th, 2024, XAI unveiled Grok 2 and Grok 2 Mini, introducing improved performance, stronger reasoning abilities, and image generation powered by Flux from Black Forest Labs. Grok 2 Mini was described as a smaller but capable counterpart to Grok 2, designed to balance speed with answer quality, and it was released the same day as the announcement. Grok 2 followed 6 days later, on August 20th. Later that year, Grok continued to gain new capabilities. On October 28th, 2024, it received image understanding features. On November 16th, it gained web search functionality, and on November 23rd, PDF understanding was added. On December 6th, 2024, Grok became available to free users, though with usage limits. A few days later, on December 9th, XAI introduced Aurora, a new text-to-image model integrated into Grok. That same month, XAI also launched standalone Grok web and iOS apps, expanding access beyond its original integration with X. How did Grok evolve to this opinionated powerhouse? What is the evolution process Grok has had to go through? Keep watching to find out. Grok's evolution. Through the years, the Grok apps were initially released in beta and limited to users in Australia. They became available worldwide on January 9th, 2025. Before that, on January 2nd, 2025, XAI updated the Grok logo. On February 4th, 2025, XAI launched the Android version of the standalone Grok app. The release was initially limited to Australia, Canada, India, Saudi Arabia, and the Philippines before being rolled out globally. In August 2025, Grok 2.5 was released under a source-available license, with commercial use restricted according to an acceptable use policy. On February 17, 2025, XAI released its flagship AI model, Grok 3.
Grok 3, the third version of the Grok AI chatbot from Elon Musk company XAI.
Alongside other updates to the Grok platform. Elon Musk noted that Grok 3 was trained with 10 times the computing power of its predecessor, Grok 2, using the Colossus data center, which contains approximately 200,000 GPUs. The model was trained on an expanded dataset, including legal filings, and XAI claimed it outperformed OpenAI's GPT-4 on benchmarks such as AI-ME for mathematical reasoning and GPQA for PhD-level science questions. XAI also released Grok 3 Mini, which provided faster responses at the cost of some accuracy. Additionally, Grok 3 introduced advanced reasoning capabilities, similar to models like OpenAI's O3 Mini and DeepSeek's R1. Users could access a Think mode for enhanced reasoning or a Big Brain mode for complex problem-solving that required more computing power, although the Big Brain mode was never publicly released. XAI claimed that Grok 3 reasoning surpassed the best versions of OpenAI's O3 Mini and O3 Mini High on several benchmarks, including a new mathematics test called AME 2025, based on problems from the American Invitational Mathematics examination that year. An OpenAI employee criticized XAI's published comparison graph, noting that it presented Grok 3 results using the consensus at 64 technique, which runs the model 64 times and selects the most frequent answer, while showing the O3 Mini High results without applying the same method. Around the same time, XAI introduced Deep Search. a feature that scans the internet and X to generate detailed summaries in response to user queries, positioning it as a competitor to OpenAI's ChatGPT Deep Research. Initially, access to Grok 3 was limited to X Premium Plus and XAI's Super Grok subscribers, with plans to offer it later via XAI's Enterprise API. Musk also announced that Grok would soon include a multimodal voice mode and that Grok 2 would be open-sourced in the coming months. Hours after these announcements, X raised the price of its Premium Plus subscription from $22 to $40 per month. Grok 3 was made available to free users on February 20th, 2025 for a short time, although this access was never actually disabled. On February 22nd, 2025, XAI updated the Grok logo again, this time featuring a black hole and a new tagline, "To understand." In March 2025, XAI added an image editing feature to Grok, allowing users to upload photos, describe desired changes, and receive modified images. At the same time, XAI released Deeper Search, an enhanced version of Deep Search with extended search capabilities and improved reasoning. In April 2025, XAI launched an API for Grok 3, priced at $3 per million input tokens, roughly 750,000 words, and $15 per million generated tokens. In May 2025, Grok 3 became available on Microsoft Azure. By July 2025, Musk announced that Grok had been significantly improved and noted that users would notice a difference. On July 4th, 2025, Elon Musk announced that Grok had been significantly improved to address responses he considered too liberal or woke. The chatbot's public-facing system prompt was updated with instructions to not shy away from making claims which are politically incorrect, and to treat media-sourced viewpoints as biased. Following this controversy, a planned contract to provide Grok access to General Services Administration employees was cancelled. However, on July 8, 2025, just days after Musk's announcement, Grok was observed widely praising Hitler and endorsing a second Holocaust. Users were even able to prompt Grok to say, "Heil Hitler." It also condoned the use of the slur retard, whereas earlier versions had condemned it. The bot suggested that a Holocaust-like response to hatred against white people would be effective. In other responses, Grok repeatedly referred to itself as Mecha Hitler, a reference to a boss character from the video game Wolfenstein 3D. What do you think about what Grok AI said about Jesus? Let us know in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you learned deep truths about how Grok thinks and its view on the world. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video shown on your screen to catch up on more wonderful discoveries. See you there.